Yes, a very good morning to all of you. Right, so I hope all of you are able to see me and are able to hear me also. Right, if you could just confirm if the audio video is all clear, right, so that we can begin with our discussion. Yes, everyone, all of you joined in. Right, please mute the video audio at your end. Whenever I tell you, you could start it, but just on the chat box, you could mention about it, right, that you have joined in. Yes, so how have you been doing? All great, right? Okay, good morning. Audio, video, all clear. Okay, that's great. Okay, right. So, welcome, a very warm welcome to all of you to the CA final, right? Advanced Auditing Assurance and Professional Ethics. That's the first change which we need to know, that in the old syllabus, it used to be called as Advanced Auditing and Professional Ethics. But now what they've done over there is that they've added the word Advanced Auditing Assurance and the Professional Ethics. Because apart from audit also, we provide a lot of other assurance services. That is why now what is the name of the subject? Advanced Auditing, Assurance and the Professional Ethics. Right, so at intermediate level already you've studied the audit. In your articleship also you've done the audit, and now as a chartered accountant, right, you started your journey, you finish your 10th standard, then it was decided to do commerce, for majority of you. Then after that you came to the foundation, then foundation MCQ circling, and then done. Then after that intermediate, then the articleship, and then you were the people who were in the dwindling situation. Okay, new syllabus, my attempt, what will be applicable, old syllabus, new syllabus, what is the transition, I don't know when I should start the classes, right? So you had lot of anticipation to be done, but finally now you know that you have to write down your exams in the new syllabus, right? You have the luxury of writing only 6 papers, right? So because 2 papers have been made into the self-paced learning module, that is the law in the group 1 and the costing in the group 2, that is your SCMPE, right? But there are some subjects which are like never going to be off the syllabus, like FR, FM, and then apart from that the audit, DT and IDT, and then all these 5 subjects put together, 20 marks. They've made a 6th subject over there called as the multidisciplinary case study, right? So yes, that's the happy part of the news, that you just have not just may not be the correct word, but yeah, you have the 6 subjects to study, but lot of other work to be done, like self-paced learning module and ITT and some orientation courses and all of that, right? So that continues to be there. Okay, right. So now with all of that, let's begin. This is our CA final, right? Fast track batch. So before the students took the registration for this batch, some of them had an apprehension, okay, oh, it is fast track, so will it cover the entire syllabus, right? What is how many time and all of that. So let me give you an outline of what is a fast track batch. Okay, one, I have just finished with a regular batch which went around like 175 hours or so, and this is a fast track batch which has been planned for 90 plus hours, right? So anything which is more than 90, it is going to be between 90 to 100 hours. Okay, will I be covering the entire syllabus in the fast track batch? Yes. Right, then what is going to be the difference between a fast track and a regular batch over here? Right, so here probably the number of times that we repeat a particular concept, or the detailed multiple types of understanding which we go through, it may be reduced to a certain extent, right? So obviously without compromising on the content or so, right, we will be covering the entire syllabus, but just at a little bit of the different pace, right? You won't even find out, okay, whether you're doing a regular batch or a fast track batch, that comfortable you will be with the pace and the syllabus of the batch. But only little bit I need cooperation from all of you. So before I tell you anything else, right, I just need one cooperation from all of you, some like a ritual, some like a habit when you're attending this batch, so that you get the maximum benefit from this batch, right? So I hope you have a notebook in front of you. Maybe, probably, hopefully the textbooks would have already reached to you, but if not, then at least the notebook is in front of you, a pen is there in your hand and a notebook in front of you, and you can start writing, right, that what you have to do today and tomorrow, right? So what you have to do today, right? What you need to do today is that whatever we have studied today, what that you need to revise. So today, day one, whatever we are going to study, that you are going to revise. And whatever we are going to study tomorrow, that you are going to read, right? So whatever we've already studied, that you are going to revise, and whatever I'll tell you that tomorrow these are the topics or the chapters which we will be discussing, so that you need to read, right? So read whatever we are going to study on the next day and revise whatever we've studied on the that particular day of the class. And apart from that, just ensure that your notes are completed, right? So whatever crisp, whatever, like one day before the exam, that's $1 million question. Okay, how to revise the entire subject in 1.5 days before the exam, or how many times I revise, or how I can revise the subject of audit. So for that, you need to prepare your own notes on the basis of what we discuss in the class and what charts we make in the class, right? So immediately, okay, whatever is discussed today, for that, whatever notes I have made plus whatever notes you would like to make, please ensure that those notes are prepared. Right? So one, you need to revise whatever we've studied. Second, you need to read what we are going to study on the next day. Third, you need to prepare your notes, your charts, whatever, whatever you need to prepare or condense or, summarize that particular topic, chapter, concept. You need to prepare that immediately. You can't keep it on hold at all. And fourth thing, what you need to do is that whatever concept, topic, or anything that we have discussed, for that, whatever question answers are there or whatever MCQs are there, all of that you need to go through. Right? So that's why the timing of the class has been kept as 9 to 2, right? And then after that, you have one more set, like, you can devote more 2-3 hours for the study of the subject of audit till the time the class is going on, so that you get the maximum benefit from the class. I hope everybody is able to capture my words. You're getting what I say, right? What did I tell you? Point number 1, you revise whatever we studied in class. Point number 2, you read whatever the next day we are going to discuss. Point number 3, you ensure that you prepared all the notes, all the charts, all the markings of whatever is discussed. You are in line with the class, attuned. And fourth, whatever is discussed in the class, for that, whatever questions and answers are available in the book, whether you have gone through all those question and answer, let it be a 10 mark, no 10 mark question, but let it be a 5 mark, 4 mark question, or, let it be an MCQ 2 mark, 1 marker, whatever it is, whatever content is available, whether you have studied. Okay, right. So revise, read, prepare notes and question and answer. Perfect, right? So this is a ritual, right, which you need to follow every day for the entire duration of the batch, right? I don't need to tell you. I'm doing the programming for you. Okay, this is how we need to go about the batch, right? Clear to all of you? Okay, right. Then after that, now first I will give you an outline of the syllabus, of what all chapters are there in our syllabus, and then after that, how we will be proceeding, what will be the flow of our batch, right? What is going to be the flow of our discussion, right? So everybody, all good? Yes, sitting straight? Absolutely all set, for the study of the subject of audit. How many of you loved audit at the intermediate level or during your articleship, or audit was like a nightmare for you, theory subject, some are good with practical subject. Every person, different personality, different likes, dislikes, strengths and weaknesses and all of that. So yeah, things happen in different ways. Okay, right? Is English comfortable for all of you? है ना, ऐसा तो नहीं है. Generally there is an image created that Aarti ma'am teaches in English, but yeah, I do teach in English, but ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं हिंदी में नहीं बात कर सकती हूँ, है ना. तो मैं हिंदी में बात करके पूरा सब्जेक्ट हिंदी में भी पढ़ा सकती हूँ, but because many of my students would prefer the English language, that's the reason. And ultimately you guys have to write your exams in English, na. So why listen to something in Hindi, what you want to, write in the exams in English, unless and until you have opted only like for the Hindi medium of the paper, there is no question. Right? So it's better, that we study in English. And anyways, I'm not going to speak any Shakespeare or any Shashi Tharoor English. I don't even know that type of English. It's normal. whatever normal grammar and normal terms are there related to the subject of audit, that English is what we are going to speak, right? And English is like a essential requirement for, you becoming a professional in the coming future, in the next few months, or probably in a year or so. Okay, right, all of you, I expect you to have some stationery with you. Stationery in the context of one notebook to begin with, 200 pages full scale, and then maybe as that book gets over, you can move on to the next book. Then a few color pens like red, blue, green, any color, orange, pink, yellow, purple, whatever you like. Then one or two highlighters, that is the neon color highlighters, and some sticky notes. So that if you find any short form or any memory technique given over there, you can write it on that sticky note, and in your textbook, wherever it is given, there you can put that sticky note, right? So that your book comes to life, you sprinkle life into your book by doing such markings and all of that, right? Then you have a textbook and you have a notebook, right? In the textbook, the page numbers are already there. In the notebook, you will write down page number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then what you will do, right? Say in the textbook on page, I'm just giving an example. Say in the textbook on page number 2.1, right? There is a particular standard discussed, particular topic discussed. And that in your notebook is on page number 6. In the textbook, it is on page number 2.1, and in your notebook, you've written about it in page number 6. So in the notebook, you will give a reference to the textbook, refer TB 2.1. Refer TB. What is TB? The textbook 2.1. And in the textbook, you will give a reference to the notebook, refer NB 6. Right? That is page number 6. I hope you understand what I said. In the textbook, you have to give a reference to the notebook, and in the notebook, you have to give a reference to the textbook page number, right? So that, at any point of time, if you're reading only the textbook or you're reading only the notebook, you want to do some additional reading, you know which page in the textbook and the notebook you need to go to. Right? I hope you understand my instructions very clearly and in the first, attempt in which I speak, right? No need to have many attempts, no, that everything I need to repeat it 1 attempt, 2 attempt, 3 attempt. No, 1 attempt I say it and you should follow it. Is it happening that way? Is it working that way? Right? Textbook, you give the notebook reference, and notebook, you give the textbook reference. These are like some ground rules, which you need to follow when you study the subject of the audit. Okay, right. So with that, now let's come to the discussion of the syllabus, right? So let's come to the discussion of the syllabus. Okay, right. So the name of our subject, right? You have the CA final, advanced auditing, right? So intermediate, what you studied is the auditing and the code of ethics. Now in the new syllabus, there is code of ethics introductory part also added at intermediate level, right? But CA final, you have the advanced auditing, comma, the assurance, and then the professional ethics. Right? The ethics associated with the CA profession, that is the moral values, right? The moral principles as a chartered accountant, right? So that's the advanced auditing, assurance, and the professional ethics. Okay, right. In our syllabus, in total, as per the institute study material, we have the 19 chapters, right? As per the institute study material, we have the 19 chapters. In our books also, right, these are the books which might have reached to you or might be on the way, right? You have the, right, the module 2 and the module 1, right? You have the module 1 and then this is the module 2, right? This module 1 and module 2 is also, is having those 19 chapters over there, right? So in the module 1, right, in the module 1, you have the 0. Now, what is chapter 0? That is something additional which I have put on my own, right? So, chapter number 0 to 11 is in module 1, and chapter number 12 to 19 is in the module 2. Right? So, chapter number 0 to 11 is in module 1, and chapter number 12 to 19 is in module 2. Right? Chapter 0, it's like, ma'am, what is this chapter 0 over there? It is just a quick revision of all the important terms that we have an audit. right? All the important terminology regarding the subject of audit, just a quick revision of all of those terms. And then after that is that it has a list of all these standards, right? So that is plain, your chapter 0. Right? Then after that you have the chapter 1 to 11. But after 1 we have one addition over there, that is the 1A, in which I have put some miscellaneous standards. Right? So some additional standards which specifically are not included in your syllabus, but they say, you know, these are discussed at the intermediate level, but a case study based question can be asked at CA final level. So they say not applicable, but applicable. Okay, they are discussed at inter level, and case study based questions can be asked at CA final level. And then after that, the chapter 7, I have divided under two parts, 7A and the 7B. Right? 7B is where we discuss section 143, the rights and duties of the company auditor, and second, the clauses of the CARO 2020. Right, CARO 2020. Right, so is this all there in your syllabus also? Yes, but just for clarity purpose, just for better understanding purpose, I have put it separately. Like chapter 0 is the important terms, 1A is the miscellaneous standards, and then the 7B is the section 143 and the CARO. Right? So institute study material chapter 7 has all of it put together. What I have done, 7A is the 700 series and 7B is the section 143 and the CARO. Right? And then in the module 2, you have chapter number 12 to 19, in which chapter number 14, I have made it as 14A and 14B. Right, you know, because we have the audit of the banks and the audit of the NBFCs. Now, putting the entire thing in one chapter was becoming too voluminous. That is why I just divided the chapter into 14A and 14B. Right, so these are only the places where you will find, you know, chapter 0, chapter 1A, then chapter 7A, 7B, and then 14A, 14B. Rest, it is entirely in line with the study material of the ICAR. Right, chapter number 1 to 19. Okay, now in this chapter number 1 to 19, chapter number 1 to 11, and 0 is just your revision of important terms, and it is regarding the list of the standards. But apart from that, this chapter number 1 to 11 is regarding your engagement. Yes, everybody, please listen to me carefully. It is regarding your engagement and quality control standards. Right? It is regarding the EQCS. What is EQCS? Engagement and quality control standards. Right, so chapter number 1 to 11, what are we going to discuss in chapter number 1 to 11? The engagement and the quality control standards. Okay, right. How many engagement and quality control standards are there? Anybody? Any guess? कितने हैं? कितने स्टैंडर्ड्स थे? है ना, वो जैसे कितने आदमी थे वैसे कितने स्टैंडर्ड्स थे? Right? How many engagement and quality control standards we have? How many do we have? Anybody? Any wild guess? Right? How many standards do we have? Okay, SQC1 is one of them. Yeah, that's the quality control standard. Okay, great. What apart from that? Right? That's the quality control standard. Apart from that, which are the other standards that we have over there? Right, yes. So engagement and the quality control standards, right? So in total, we have the 46 standards. Okay. Now, in the old syllabus, you know, that means up to November 2023, it was the 36 standards which were applicable at CA final. Right, 36 standards which were applicable at CA final. That means 10 standards were not applicable. So total is how much? 46. Out of that, in old syllabus, up to November 23, please listen to me, both ears wide open. Up to November 23, how many standards used to be applicable? 36 standards. But now what has happened? These additional 10 standards are also added in your CA final syllabus. So that is why now you have the 46 standards applicable. Okay, so these 10 standards which were not applicable for November 23, they were applicable till May 2019. Up to May 2019, Institute in CA final, there were 46 standards which were applicable. Then something came to their mind, and then they said November 19 to November 19 to November 2023, it was only the 36 standards which were applicable. And now May 24 onwards, what has happened again is that those 10 standards which had gone on a holiday from November 19 to November 23 have now come back. Okay, so as such, it is not new, totally new standards. It is standards which have already been tested by ICAI previously, and now they have again been reintroduced into the syllabus. Like if you see the question bank for these 10 standards, you'll see that there is some question which I've put over there of November 17, November 18, May 19 or so. You might wonder कि अरे ये अभी applicable है, ये question banks में reference कहाँ से आया? So they were applicable till May 19. Right? So I was, when these standards had gone, it was like a small heartbreak for me, because, once you study a standard, it becomes applicable for the exams. You study and you teach it a number of times, you gain mastery over that particular standard. And I used to really like, I like the entire subject of audit as such, but these 10 standards also I used to like. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to miss teaching these 10 standards. And then, when those standards came back into the syllabus, and then when I taught it again, it was like a nostalgic feeling for me that, oh yeah, this is all what I used to teach. Oh, these were the examples. It was like memories coming back to me of all these standards over there. Right? So how many standards do you have which are applicable? You have the 46 standards. Okay, like earlier in CA final audit paper, the weightage of these standards used to be 25 to 30 marks up to November 2023. The weightage of these standards was told by ICAI to be, right, how much? 25 to 30 marks, like 20 on the lower side and 30 on the higher side. So 25 to 30 on an average. Now in the new syllabus, they say standards ka weightage is at least 50%. In the new syllabus, they say standards, the engagement and quality control standards. How much is the weightage? Now the weightage is 50%. That is 50 marks of your exams are going to be coming from the standard. How much of that in the MCQ theory part, that we will see. But 50 marks, like so damn important area for your exams is the standards. Okay, so in your life so far, what you've seen is you say, ma'am, don't ask what all we have seen in life. Right? Okay, so we've seen accounting standards. Then we've also heard about the international financial reporting standards. Then we've also heard about the Ind accounting standards. But now we are going to hear about the, right, engagement and quality control standards. I'll be discussing in detail with you. Okay, what comes under this engagement and quality control standards. But let me tell you, where are you listening to? Here, I am on your screen. You don't go anywhere now. Okay, right. So now what I'm telling you, apart from this EQCS, they've also made a reference to SIA. They've also made a reference to FAIS. They've also made a reference to SAS. Oh my God. That seems something interesting over there. Right? So they have made a reference to the standards on internal audit. Right? Standards on internal audit. Then they've also made a reference to the forensic accounting and investigation standards. Right? So you have the ICAI is the first one to issue the forensic accounting and investigation standards. And then apart from that, you also have the social audit standards, right? Nowadays, you also have the social stock exchange, right? So you have the social audit standards. Right, so these are like, just the introductory part, just the numbers and the title and the number of that standards have been introduced in your syllabus. Right, standards on internal audit, forensic accounting and investigation standards, and the SAS, that is the social audit standards. Okay, right. So now coming back to this term on the engagement. Everybody, are you all with me? Yes, everyone, please tell me. Are you all there? Yes? No technology issues, full data loaded. right? In your mobile, in your laptop, in your tablet, whatever, technology you have with you, right? Full data, no power interruption, no fluctuation, no problem, है ना? Problem nothing, है ना? No problem at all. Okay, right. So engagement and quality control standards. Okay, now as a chartered accountant, right? As a chartered accountant, they also call him as a professional accountant. Okay, as a professional accountant, what are the types of engagements that you can perform? It says, okay, as a chartered accountant, you can perform an audit engagement. Audit means bread and butter. You remember those fine days of inter audit where you, in your first class, you would have been taught the definition of audit? Can I hear the definition of audit? You remember those golden days of your life? Yes, audit is an independent examination of financial information of any entity, whether profit oriented or not, irrespective of its size or legal form, when such an examination is conducted with a view to expressing an opinion thereon. You remembered something, right? Audit. Right? Audit is an independent examination, and then we talk about the advantages of an independent audit and the inherent limitations of an audit and all of that. Okay, right. So one type of engagement which a CA can do is the audit engagement. Then apart from audit, it says CA, you can do the review engagement. Right? You can do a review engagement. Right? So like an audit and review are performed on the historical financial information. Right? They are performed on the historical financial information. That is why they are called as the postmortem activity. Postmortem, कि already हो गया. Now you are digging the grave and finding out. You understand? It's a postmortem activity. It is performed on the historical financial information. Say example. Today is 15th April 2025. Example. Today is what date? 15th April 2025. So what will be the year which is already over? 31st March 2025. So 31st March 2025 for 15th April 2025 is the historical financial information. History. Historical financial information. Now this historical financial information, as the CA, what you can do? You can either do the audit or you can do the review. Right? Historical. And what is financial information? It is financial statements. What is financial statements? It is balance sheet, statement of profit and loss, then cash flow statement, then you know this fellow, SOCE. Yes, statement of changes in equity if applicable, and notes, that is summary of significant accounting policies and other explanatory information. Right? That is what you mean by financial statements: balance sheet, profit and loss, cash flow, SOCE, that is statement of changes in equity if applicable, and then the notes, that is the summary of the significant accounting policies and the other explanatory information. Right. So as a CA, when you are doing the checking of the historical financial statements or the historical financial information, you can do the checking either by way of an audit or you can do a review. If you do an audit, please listen to me. If you do an audit, then you can give a reasonable assurance. How is reasonable assurance defined as? It is a high level of assurance, but not an absolute assurance due to the inherent limitations of an audit. Right? So reasonable assurance that financial statements are free from material misstatement, that they give a true and fair view. Whereas if the CA does a review, then he gives a limited assurance that financial statements are free from material misstatement. Right? So there is a difference in the level of assurance which we give in a audit and a review. Okay, so don't see, एक review क्या होता है? What is one review? Okay, work is done by article ka work is being checked by the team senior, then senior ka work is being checked by the manager, then manager ka work is being checked by the engagement partner or by the sole proprietor. Even this is a review. Then ICAI sends a chartered accountant to your firm to check the quality of your work. That is peer review. That is peer review. Then Big Four, like say PwC Hyderabad, will send us, one employee of PwC Hyderabad to PwC Bangalore, or PwC China to PwC India, right, to check the quality of their services. So that is called as the practice review. Right, that is called as the practice review. So these reviews are different. This a work of a less experienced team member being checked by more experienced team member, peer review of ICAI, practice review done amongst the CA firm. It says these reviews are different. Here we are talking about review as a method of doing the examination, checking of the financial statements. Right, so please everyone start writing down with me. What is the difference between an audit and a review? Right, in an audit, the auditor gives a reasonable assurance that financial statements are free from material misstatement. Whereas in a review, the CA, the practitioner, gives a limited assurance that the financial statements are free from material misstatement. Right? Reasonable assurance is given in the form of a positive assurance. What do we say? Okay, financial statements give a true and fair view. It's a positive statement. They give a true and fair view. Whereas in case of a review where we have to give a limited assurance, we give a negative assurance. So now how do you draft your opinion? You say nothing has come to our attention. Nothing has. I am the CA and I have done the review and I'm saying nothing has come to our attention that causes us to believe that the financial statements do not give a true and fair view. Nothing has come to our attention that causes us to believe that the financial statements do not give a true and fair view. Means what? Minus minus plus. Nothing not. That means they give a true and fair view. But limited assurance is to be given in the form of a negative assurance, and reasonable assurance is to be given in the form of the positive assurance. Right, this is what has been told by the standards. Right, so what do you think? What is broader in scope, audit or review? Yes, intelligent students, quickly answer my question. What do you think is broader in scope, audit or review? Obviously, yes, obviously, yes. Audit will be more in scope as compared to a review, and review will be less in scope as compared to an audit. And in an audit, mainly we have the 7 methods of obtaining the audit evidence. Let me see if anybody's brain file is opening when I talk about the 7 methods of obtaining the audit evidence. I'm doing an audit. I have to obtain audit evidence. What is evidence? Information. It's not proof. It's information obtained by the auditor on which he bases his conclusion. As an auditor, how I can obtain this information, this evidence? What are the 7 methods of obtaining the evidence? Any student? Yes, 7 methods of obtaining the audit evidence. ICAIORR. Exactly. What is that? Inspection. Right? Then confirmation. Right? Then analytical procedures. Very good. Analytical procedures. Then inquiry. Then observation. Then recalculation. And last one is the performance, right? So when you're doing an audit, what are the methods that you can use? ICAIORR. Like, when I'm checking the minutes of the meeting or I'm checking a sales voucher, I'm doing inspection. When I obtain a confirmation from debtor, creditor, banker, that is confirmation. When I compare with previous year figures, that is analytical procedure. When I have a discussion with the employees, that is inquiry. When I observe the counting of inventory being done by the client personnel. Client is counting inventory, their inventory. What I am doing, I am observing. I am taking a look at a process being performed by others. That is observation. I check the calculation of depreciation, rent, royalty, interest. So what am I doing? Recalculation. and client has already counted the inventory. Some of their inventory, I'm counting it again. That is reperformance. Client has already prepared BRS. I am preparing the BRS again. Bank reconciliation statement. Client has already prepared. I'm preparing it again. So what am I doing? Reperformance. Right? So in an audit, mainly there are the 7 methods of obtaining audit evidence which are given in SA 500. What is the title of SA 500? Audit evidence. And these are the 7 methods of obtaining the audit evidence. Okay. Whereas in a review, there are mainly 2 methods which are used. What are the 2 methods used in case of a review? Inquiry and analytical procedures. That's it. Right? In case of the review, because we said no, review is less in scope, audit is more in scope as compared to a review. So in a review we are giving only limited assurance, we are not giving the reasonable assurance, right? So here it says only mainly the procedures performed are inquiry and analytical procedures, right? Inquiry and analytical procedures. Okay, now to do an audit, ICAI has issued the standards on auditing, right? Standards on auditing. And to do a review, ICAI has issued the standards on review engagement, right? The standards on review engagement, right? How many standards on auditing are there? Right? How many standards on auditing? Yes, we have the 38 standards on auditing. And how many standards on review engagement? Just 2. And just 2 standards on review engagement, wherein you have the SRE 2400 because it's in the 2000 series, and SRE 2410. Right, so that is the first 2 types of the engagement standards, right? The SA and the SRE. When you are doing an audit, you need to follow the standards on auditing. When you are doing a review, you need to follow the standards on review engagement. Is it clear to all of you? You follow what I say? Right? SRE is discussed in your 2400 and 2410 is discussed in your chapter number 10. Right? It was 2400 and 2410 is discussed. I told you module 1 we have chapter 1 to 11. So it's discussed in the chapter number 10. Clear everyone? Did you get a rough idea of what is an audit, what is a review? Right? Audit, review, both are post-mortem. Both are performed on the historical financial information. In an audit, we give a reasonable assurance. Reasonable assurance standards say that you always have to give it in the form of a positive assurance, whereas in a review we give a limited assurance, and limited assurance is always to be given in the form of a negative assurance. In an audit we have the 7 methods of obtaining audit evidence. ICAI ORR. Inspection, confirmation, that is external confirmations, analytical procedures, inquiry, observation, recalculation, reperformance. Whereas in a review, mainly the procedures performed are the inquiry and analytical procedures. Sometimes you may follow the other methods, but mainly it is inquiry and analytical procedures. Okay, right. So let's come back to the chart which I was preparing over here. Right, okay, audit and review. As a CA, what are the types of engagement that you can perform? Is the audit engagement or the review engagement. Both are done for the historical financial information. If you are doing an audit, you need to follow the SA, that is the standards on auditing. If you are doing a review, you need to follow the SRE, that is the standards on the review engagement. Okay, right? So there are 38 standards on auditing, and then there are the 2 standards on the review engagement. Then a CA can be appointed, and a CA can be appointed to do audit. Okay, CA can be appointed to do review. Both are for historical financial information. CA can be appointed for an assurance engagement other than audit or review, and a CA can be appointed for an assurance engagement, that is, say for, if it is 31st March 2025, then we said it is historical financial information because we said today is 15th April 25. But say if it is 31st March 2035, or 2035 is future. So what is this? This is not historical. This is future, prospective financial information. And now for prospective financial information, if you have to do the checking and give an assurance, then that is the other assurance, right? Other assurance, right? So other assurance, what do we have? Whenever CA is appointed for the other assurance, he needs to follow the SAE. What does SAE stand for? The standards on assurance engagement, right? The standards on the assurance engagement. How many standards are there on the assurance engagement? 3, right? You have the SAE 3400, 3402 and 3420. When we go to them, we will see that, right? For SRE, we have 2400 and 2410. SAE 3400, 3402 and 3420. Right. Now this audit, review, other assurance, these are all assurance services. Audit you give reasonable assurance. Review you give the limited assurance. Other assurance, again it is limited or moderate assurance. But if you are providing a service other than assurance services, then that is called as your related services. Right, so now it is other than assurance. Isme whatever it is, ultimately it is an assurance engagement, audit, review or other assurance engagement. But now you're not doing audit, you're not doing review, it's not any other assurance engagement, but it is a related services engagement. Then it says CA, you need to follow the SRS. What is SRS? The standards on related services, right? The standards on related services, right? That is SRS. How many SRS are issued? 2 SRS, right? So you have SRS 4400 and 4410, right? 4400 and 4410, right? So what did we see? SA, SRE, SAE, then SRS. These are the 4 types of engagement standards. Standards on auditing, standards on review engagement, standards on assurance engagement, and the standards on related services. So as a CA, hey everyone, are you listening to me? As a CA, as a chartered accountant, as a professional accountant, what are the types of engagement that I can perform? I'm not able to hear you. Oh, you'll say, ma'am, no, we are mute. No, don't worry. Be mute only. But if you say, I can hear you. If you say it, no, I will be able to hear you. Right? As a CA, what are the types of engagement that you can perform? Audit, review, any other assurance engagement other than audit or review, that is SAE, and then the standards on related services, right? You can perform the related services engagement. Super. Very good. Okay, now whatever be the type of engagement that you are performing, that you say, oh, I am doing an audit, oh, I am doing a review, oh, I'm doing an assurance engagement other than audit or review, oh, nowadays I'm very busy providing the related services. Whatever be the type of engagement that you are performing, you always have to maintain the quality of your audit. You always have to maintain the quality, right? So we have a quality control standard, which is SQC. And how many SQCs are there? Only 1. One standard on quality control. और उसका number भी क्या है? SQC 1. What is the number also? SQC 1. Okay, right? So let's do some mathematics. 38 standards on auditing plus 2 standards on review engagement, 40 plus 3 standards on assurance engagement, 43. Then 2 standards on related services, so 43 plus 2, 44, 45, and then 1 standard on quality control. Exactly. So these are the 46 standards which are applicable for your CA final audit, which is your chapter number 1 to 11. Right? So earlier what used to happen, there used to be, I told you, up to November 23, you had 35 essays and 1 standard on quality control. So there used to be 36 standards which were applicable. But now what they have done, the 3 standards which were not applicable of the 800 series, then the SRE, SAE, SRS, right? So 2, 3, 2 and these 3, right? Even these have been made applicable, right? So these are the additional 10. Are you saying 3 plus 2, 3 plus 2, 10 standards which have now been made applicable, right? Which have now been made applicable, right? So this is the breakup of the 46 standards which are applicable for your exams. Okay, right? So once again, let me mention the term over here: engagement and quality control, right? Standards. And what are the EQCS? You have the, right, ASA, SRE, SAE, SRS, and then you have the SQC, right? SQC. How many SA? 38, right? Standards on review engagement, 2, 3, 2, 1, right? Out of this, you know, the SA 800, 805 and 810 is discussed in chapter number 8, specialized areas. So chapter number 0 to what you say 0 to 7 has all the other 35 standards, or even the SQC one is over there, right? So chapter number 0 to 7, but chapter number 8 is regarding the 800 series. Then chapter number 9 is regarding the standards on related services. Chapter number 10 is regarding the review engagement, and chapter number 11 is regarding the assurance engagement. And then SQC 1 is discussed again in chapter number 1, where the name of chapter number 1 itself is the quality control, right? The name of chapter number 1 itself is quality control. So did everybody understand chapter number 8, 9, 10, 11? Right? Chapter number 8, chapter number 9, chapter number 10 and chapter number 11. What is there in this? Here you have the 800 series. Here you SA 800 series. That is, you have the 800, 805 and the 810. Then here you have the SRS 4400 and 4410. Then the SRE 2400 and 2410. And then you have the SAE 3400, 3402 and 3420. Okay, right? And the 3420. Okay, right? 3420. So did you get an outline of chapter number 8, 9, 10, 11, everyone? Yes, everyone, please tell me, did you get an outline? Right? So you have the 3 standards, 2, 2 and 3. Right? So these 10 standards are discussed over here in chapter number 8, 9, 10, 11. Clear, all of you? Yes, is it clear? Right, chapter number 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, right. Then apart from that, in chapter number 0 to 7, we have the discussion of the other 36 standards, right? So 10 are discussed over here. And then chapter number 0 to 7, we have the discussion of the 36 standards, right? As I told you, chapter number 0 is my own creation and it's not there in the study material, but it's just a quick reference of all the important terms and so. Right, then you have the chapter number 1, in which is the quality control, right? What is the name of chapter number 1? It is quality control, in which we discuss 2 standards, SQC 1 and SA 220. And SQC, I just told you, quality control for firms, and SQC 1. And then SE 220, which is quality control for an audit, right? So that is chapter number 1. Then after 1, again my own creation, I've put a chapter number 1A over there, right? In 1A, we have SE 200. I hope you remember SE 200. You know, overall objectives of the independent auditor. Kuch yaad aa raha hai? Do you remember something like that? Overall objectives of the independent auditor, and then the conduct of an audit in accordance with the standards on auditing. Exactly, right? So SA 200, 210, agreeing the terms of audit engagement, 230, audit documentation, right? Then you have these 3 best friends, 315, 330 and the 450, right? Risk response and the reporting. I'll be elaborating more upon that. right? So you have the 315, 330 and the 450 and then the 320. Right, that is the materiality standard, right? So that's chapter number 0, chapter number 1. Then there is chapter number 2. Right, what is chapter number 2 ka title? It is General Auditing Principles. General Auditing Principles and the auditor's responsibilities. I hope everybody is with me. Right, no time for distraction, so busy with the pace of the class. Right, so general auditing principles and the auditor's responsibilities. In this chapter, they have incorporated the discussion on SA 240, 250, 260 and then the SA 299 and 402. Right, how they have clubbed it, that they only know. But that is how they have included, in chapter number 2, you will find the discussion of 240, 250, 260, 299 and 402. In case if you've forgotten what are these standards about, don't worry, we'll discuss it. Right now, I'm just giving you an outline. And somewhere we need to start, right? Right, so that is chapter number 2. Then you have the chapter number 3, which is regarding the audit planning. Very good, right? Audit planning, the strategy and the execution. Right, so audit planning, strategy and execution, in which again they incorporated SA 300, 600, 610, 620 and 540. Right, so these are the chapter standards. So it's not only these standards are there, there is some other theoretical discussion also, plus the standards which are discussed in chapter number 3. So chapter number 2, then chapter number 3, in which we discuss SA 300, 600, 610, 620 and the 540. Then you have the chapter number 4, wherein the name of the chapter is the risk assessment and internal control. Right, risk assessment and internal controls, in which they've incorporated the discussion, on SA 265. Right, so there is a discussion on the entire risk-based audit approach, internal controls, a huge discussion on internal control, and then also SA 265. Right, SA 265. Then chapter number 5 is regarding the audit evidence. Right, chapter number 5 is regarding the audit evidence, in which we discuss SA 500, 501, 505, 510, 520, 530, 540 already discussed. So we have 550. And 540 तो already हो गया ना chapter number 3 में. And 540 is already done. So you're after 530, you have the 550. Right, which is the related parties. We'll see that. That is chapter number 5. Then chapter number 6, which is completion and review. Right, so sorry. Right, chapter number 6, which is regarding the completion and review, in which again you have the discussion of 3 standards, SA 560, 570 and 580. Right, so 60, 70, 80, 3 standards over there. And then after that you have the chapter number 7. I told you 7, I have made it 7A and 7B. Right, 7A you have the SA 700, 701, 705, 706, 710, 720. And this 7B is section 143 and the Caro 2020. Okay, right, so that's your chapter number 7. And then 8, 9, 10, 11, so I have already told you. Ye bataya na, 8, 9, 10, 11. You remember? 8, 9, 10, 11, I have already told you. And right now what I told you is chapter number 0 to 7. So I've told you the outline of chapter number 0 to 11. Is it clear? Right? So how many standards are over here? Right? You have the, yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Right? Then 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Right, 20, then 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. करेक्ट, ये 36 हो गया और वो 8, 9, 10, 11 में 10 हो गए तो हो गया 46 टैली. है ना. This 8, 9, 10, 11 में we have the 10 standards, and there it was the 36 standards. So likewise we complete the entire 46 standards. Getting little? It's unfamiliar? Yeah, I know that. That's why we have to begin somewhere, to make it familiar for all of you. Right? So everyone, did you understand chapter number 0 to 11? Please understand that it is regarding the standards. That's minimum of what you need to know. So if you look at the study material of the ICAI, right, it says as before we begin and all of that. And then each chapter, I'll tell you how it is divided. And then these are the chapters, which I just told you. And a quality control, chapter number 1, general auditing principles and auditors' responsibility, chapter number 2, audit planning strategy execution, chapter number 3, in which they have discussed this 450, 520 is coming at 2-3 places, right? Then the 540, 600, 610, 620, right? Then materiality, risk assessment and internal control, right? Then audit evidence, then completion and review, then the reporting. Right? In the reporting itself, they discuss the CARO, though it is not mentioned over here. Right? Then the 8, 9, 10, 11, which is 800 series, SRS series, SRE series, and then the SAE. Right? SAE. Right? So that is your chapter number 1 to 11. Right? That is your chapter number 1 to 11. Right? So 8, 9, 10, 11 is the 10 standards which have, reincarnated, or they've come again. And that is chapter number 8, 9, 10, 11. And these are your chapter number 0 to 7. Right? Chapter number 0 to 7. Okay. Right. So I hope all of you have understood that one part of your study in CA final audit is regarding these standards. How many standards we have? 46 standards we have. And what is the weightage of these standards? Minimum 50 marks. Itna samjha? Have you understood this much? Okay, 46 standards are there, and the weightage, that is chapter number 0 to 11, and the weightage of this is 50 marks. Right? That much is entered into your mind. This much information, has it entered your mind? Okay, great. Now let's come to the module 2, which is your chapter number 12 to 19. Right, chapter number 12 to 19. In that, I will make 2 parts, 12 to 18 and then chapter number 19. Chapter number 19 is one dedicated chapter on the professional ethics and the liabilities of the auditors. Right, the professional ethics and the liabilities of the auditor. Right, if you create a company, then you are governed by the provisions of the, Companies Act 2013. If you create an LLP, then you are governed by the LLP Act. If you create a cooperative society, then you are regulated by the Cooperative Society Act. Now you become a chartered accountant. So now you will be regulated by the CA Act 1949. Right? The CA Act 1949. This CA does not stand for Companies Act. This CA stands for the Chartered Accountants Act. Right? CA Act. And what is always there in a act? In a act you have the sections. Right? We just as company law has sections, even the CA law has the sections. Then just as company law has the schedule. Do you know where in company law the format of balance sheet P&L is given? Company law, which schedule? Balance sheet P&L ka format is given in, yes, exactly, schedule 3, right, to the Companies Act. So similarly, we have the schedules to the Chartered Accountants Act, the first schedule and the second schedule to the Chartered Accountants Act. And here we'll be talking about, okay, what is allowed as a CA and what is not allowed as a CA, and what is not allowed. If that is done by the CA, then we say CA guilty of professional misconduct. And guilty, this is not right, this is not allowed. And okay, CA charges this fees on percentage basis. It says in some cases allowed, but by default not allowed. CA accepts an audit without taking an NOC from previous auditor. No objection certificate from previous auditor. It says out. and out. You are guilty of professional misconduct. Right? So one part of our discussion is going to be regarding the ethics and the liabilities of the auditor. So far, it has been seen that, approximately 3 questions, like on an average, rather than approximately, on an average, 3 questions, MCQ, theory, all put together, come from ethics in the exams, right? So even if 3 questions come of, 4 marks each, the weightage of ethics on an average is 12 marks. On the, lower side, let me take it as 10 marks, right? So standards ka weightage is how much? 50 marks. Ethics ka weightage is how much? 10 marks. So this itself covers 60 marks of your paper. Standards, 50 marks. Ethics, 10 marks. Like minimum 10 marks. So ethics, they will ask. They should ask. You understand? No, otherwise you go to the exam, you say, ma'am, only 4 marks ethics have come. So wo to, it is ICAI. The only thing which is predictable about ICAI is that it is unpredictable. And just as the World Cup, we thought that, oh, our crowd is cheering and it's the venue is India and all of that, but it's unpredictable, it's a game, right? So just it's a lesson to be learned from that. So similarly, you always have to be ready for the unknown. And a CA final, the level of preparation, the level of confidence which you should be having should be such. Okay, what question you've studied, that comes in the exam, obviously you should be able to write the answer. But what question you've not studied, that also you are able to write the answer. And the examiner doesn't come to know that you didn't know about this, but still you've written the answer and he thinks that you know about it. किसी को पता नहीं चलना चाहिए. Like sometimes you are having fever, but still you go to office, you do the work, and you don't tell anybody. You don't show it on your face that you have the fever. Then later on they come to know, oh, then after 2 days your condition, deteriorated further, and then you didn't come to office. So then everybody comes to know that past 2 days you had fever, but you never showed it on your face. Right? So who knows? Only you know, what you don't know. No need to tell it to the examiner, ki see, I don't know. No. Try to show him as if I know everything on earth. Be that confident. Be that skillful. It's not an exam paper where, like in 8th standard, 9th standard, 10th standard, you studied some Chetana self-study, you studied some Navneet guide, and then lot of CBSE textbook and workbook and papers, and out of that the questions came in the exam and you wrote the answers. No. If you set those type of expectations, your expectations itself are wrong. So you are bound to face disappointment, because why? Your expectations are not realistic. You understand? You say, ma'am, please tell us the important questions. Okay, so I will tell you some 50 questions. But now, boss, it's the theory of probability. That whatever 50 questions I tell you, out of that some 20 come in the exam. Can they come? Yes. Can they not come? Very much yes. You understand? No, please don't have the expectation only. Okay, you tell me the questions which are going to come. Tell me the important chapters. Tell me what I should certainly study for the exam. These expectations are only wrong. So obviously, if your expectations are wrong, your preparations will go wrong. Keep the right expectations. Right? From day one. Ensure that, it's always said that your first attempt is your golden attempt. Right? So whatever goes in the preparation, the zeal, the enthusiasm for the first attempt, that never comes in any further attempt. Though let's not talk about it in the day one of the class. But yeah, let's keep this in mind. Okay, my first attempt is the golden attempt. Right? So I know that I am preparing for a competitive exam. Right? Like if you see the statistics of the ICAI, right? They give the members and student statistics over there. Right? Do you know the population of our country? How many of you know the population of our country? You don't know? Yes, 1.4 billion, exactly. And out of 1.4 billion, how many chartered accountants are there? 4 lakh. Like, I think there is no minority as much as that of, CA. As compared to any other community or whatever. We are the biggest minority of our country. And like just a few lakh of chartered accountants in a population of like 140 crore. With just a few lakh over there. Okay, and then they've given the details of the fellows and the associate. We'll be seeing all of that. And then they also have given the student statistics, right? So how many students are there with ICAI, right? So 8 lakh students over there, right? And at CA final, how many? 1 lakh 89. Foundation, right? 2 lakh. And then at the intermediate, there are so many students with the ICAI, right? So there is a lot of funneling which happens in the CA course, like, foundation, then inter, then final, then finally who becomes a CA. That's like, the final filter over there. Okay, anyways, right? So let's talk about this chapter number 19, which is professional ethics and the liabilities of the auditor, right? Which is the Chartered Accountants Act sections and schedule, where the weightage in the exam is like say on an average 10 marks. Okay, right. Now coming to chapter number 12 to 18. Now coming to chapter number 12 to 18, in which we are going to talk about all different types of audit. Right? What are these different audits that we are going to talk about? One, we are going to talk about the digital audit and a digital auditing and assurance. That is your chapter number 12. Digital auditing and the assurance. That is your chapter number 12. Digital auditing, like an old syllabus, there used to be a chapter called as special aspects of auditing in an automated environment. Ab gaya zamana automated environment ka. Now they are talking one step further, digital auditing, in which they are talking about artificial intelligence, blockchain, then remote audit, virtual audit, RPA, robotic process automation. Right, so that is cyber attack, cyber risk, right? What are the different types of cyber attack, right? So that's a brand new chapter introduced in your syllabus, which is digital auditing and assurance. Every exam expect at least one question from this particular chapter, right? Brand new chapter. So 5 marks. Sometimes they could either ask 2 questions also. Right, so 4 to 8 marks, 5 to 8 marks is the weightage of this chapter. Then you have the next audit over there, which is the group audit. Right, which is the group audit. Old syllabus, the same chapter was there, but only the name was audit of consolidated financial statements. And a parent company, subsidiary, associate, joint venture, all of them put together, conso, and a group, and a consolidated financial statements. So that same chapter of audit of consolidated financial statements has now become the group audit. So it's like the old wine, new bottle. And it's just the new name given to the chapter over there, which is the group audit. Right, then chapter number 14, as I told you, I have divided it under 14A and 14B, which is your audit of banks and the audit of the NBFCs, right? So non-banking financial companies. Right, so audit of banks, again, every exam we see one question, and NBFCs is like in the old syllabus, it used to be like a visiting chapter. Okay, some exam question comes, some exam doesn't come, like that. But generally bank audit, every exam we see a question. Group audit also generally one question. Okay, right. Then chapter number 15 is again an audit of the PSUs. What is PSU? Public sector undertaking. And enter you had something called as government audit. So this is the higher version of the government audit, wherein they say the overview of the audit of the public sector undertakings. Right, the overview of the audit of the public sector undertakings. Right, then you have the chapter number 16, which is regarding the internal audit. Right, internal audit. Earlier this chapter used to be internal audit, comma, in the old syllabus it used to be internal audit, comma, management and operational audit. Abhi management and operational audit, rest in peace. And no longer there. Management audit, operational audit. So the only audit which remains over there is the internal audit. Right, so you have the internal audit. Okay, right, then chapter number 17, which is your due diligence, investigations and the forensic accounting. Right, so three chapters put together in one: due diligence, investigation and the forensic accounting. Earlier it used to be called as forensic auditing, but now everywhere the word audit has been replaced with accounting. So we call it as forensic accounting, but hai to audit hi, hai na, forensic audit. but technically they say you have to call it as forensic accounting. So ठीक है. And also due diligence, investigation, and the forensic accounting, right? So due diligence, same as it was in your old syllabus. Investigation also same. Forensic accounting, little bit of updation in the content. Right? So that's the forensic accounting. Then you have chapter number 18, which is your ESG and SDG. Can anybody guess what is ESG and SDG assurance over here? Right? ESG. Nowadays, there is a buzz about these two terms. Yes, it is the... No clue? Yes, exactly. E is for the environment. Then S is for the social. And G is the... Yes, environment, social, and governance. Correct, right? So ESG. And what is SDG? SDG क्या है? Nobody? No one knows about SDG? It is the Sustainable Development Goals, right? That you develop, but it should be sustainable, right? You cannot pollute the water, you cannot pollute the air and then develop. No, you should have a sustainable development goal that you achieve your targets by keeping in mind the needs of the future generation. Right? So there are these 17 sustainable development goals which have been given. Then they talk about these 6 types of capitals and the 9 principles of the BRSR, that is the business responsibility and the sustainability reporting. Right? So that's again a brand new chapter over there, which is the ESG, environment, social governance, and the SDG, that is the sustainable development goals assurance. Right, so that's what I told you. In chapter number 16, we have a brief reference to the standards on internal audit. Here we have a reference to the FAIS, Forensic Accounting and Investigation Standards. And here we have a reference to the SAS, that is the Social Audit Standards. Right, social audit standards. Okay, right, so 2 chapters brand new. Which are the brand new 2 chapters over there? Chapter number 12 and chapter number 18. What is chapter number 12? It is regarding your digital auditing. And what is chapter number 18? ESG and the SDG assurance. Then chapter number 8, 9, 10, 11, re-entry. And they were there earlier up to May 19, then not there, then again come back into the syllabus. Right, chapter number 8, 9, 10, 11. Right, then chapter number 0 to 7 is your 36 standards. And then I told you the chapter number 13 to 17, right? All those are your different types of audits. And then chapter number 19, which is professional ethics and the liabilities of the auditors. Right, so this is what I wanted. You know, a sign of a good student is a student who knows what are the chapters in the syllabus. Some students, they say, acha, SDG hai? Oh, I never saw that. Oh, I don't know. So those type of great students are also there. Right, so all of you, have you got an idea? Right, so if you look at the study material, it says digital auditing and assurance, chapter number 12. Group audits, chapter number 13. Then 14 is special features of audit of banks and NBFCs. I told you 14A and B. Then 15 is public sector undertaking. 16 is internal audit. 17 due diligence, investigation, and the forensic accounting. Then emerging areas, SDG and ESG assurance, right? So sustainable development goals and the environment, social, and the governance assurance. And then you have the professional ethics and the liabilities of the auditors, right? The professional ethics and the liabilities of the auditors. So if you look at the institute study material, they have issued 3 modules. In module 1, they have chapter number 1 to 7. In module 2, they have chapter number 8 to 14, and module 3, they have chapter number 15 to 19. But in our study material, the books which have been issued to you, there is chapter number 0 to 19. So module 1 has 0 to 11 and module 2 has 12 to 19. Right, 12 to 19. Okay, right. Now, what ICAI has done under each chapter, after each chapter, they have put 3 types of questions. Right, so after each chapter, ICAI has put 3 types of questions. One is they've put an integrated case scenario. One, they have put an integrated case scenario and ask some MCQs based on that case scenario. Second, they have some, what I call it as the thank you questions, right? What is this thank you questions? It is your test your understanding question. So they've given a case scenario, they've given us a real life situation, and they've told you to apply the concepts which you study in the chapter, right? So this is like the real new thing which is there in your questions. And a test your understanding. A practical application of the question is asked over there. And then third one is the TYK. What is TYK? It is the test your knowledge, which is your pure theoretical questions, you know. Okay, what is the meaning of blockchain? So whatever theory is there in the chapter that you write, or what are the different types of cyber attacks? So you write down, these are the following are the different types. Right? So these are your theoretical and case study questions, but these are like the practical, you know, application based question. That is your test your understanding, and then you have the integrated case scenario. Right? So three types of question given almost at the end of each chapter. You have the MCQs, you have your test your understanding, and then you have your test your knowledge questions. What I have done in this book is that whatever, right, questions are there in the study material of the ICAI in the new syllabus, all those questions I have put. And so far, whatever historical database was there in the old study material, in the mock test paper, in the revision test paper, in the suggested of ICAI, in the earlier study material of ICAI, all of that also I have incorporated in this particular book. Right? I've incorporated it in this particular book. Okay, so there are three ways in which you can study from this book. Right? So the module 1 and the module 2, which has been given to you. Right? There are three ways in which you can study from this book. Right? One, you can do a holistic study. Like 100, you know, a comprehensive, you know, study, like the entire theory, then the entire what do you say, question and answers regarding that. So it's like, you know, the Bible, the Gita, the Quran, you know, it's like the Granth Sahib, it's like the, you know, the end, the full thing of the audit subject which you need to study. Second, if you only look at the question answer part, if you only look at the integrated case scenario, the thank you, and the, you know, test your knowledge question, then this book will work for you as a scanner. You know, you don't look into any of the content of the chapter. What you only look into is, you directly don't look into the theory part of the chapter, and directly what you do, you directly jump to the question bank, and you just see the, you know, like they have your test your understanding. I don't know whether you're able to see, then the integrated case scenario, and then the test your knowledge. That's it. So if you see only that part of the book, then obviously the book works like a scanner for you, right, regarding all the questions. Okay. And third, you know, whatever important terms are there, or whatever I told you, okay, you will be preparing notes and charts as you go across the class, right, or whatever in the books, you know, like this is the module 1. Yeah, right. So this is the module 1, and in this module 1, I've already, this index and all I've discussed with you. But if I want to show you something relevant over here, right, like see in this module 1 over here, you see that I have used the red color at few of the places, right? So if I want to revise only like the key terms, or just have an overview of the entire chapter, or use the book as a, you know, a express note, or as a compiler, or as a, you know, a summary notes or something, then what I do, I only read the heading on the left hand side, and on the right hand side I only read the red words. I only read the red color words over there, so that it becomes a quick revision. No need to read the entire sentence. Normally when you study, you will read the entire sentence, but when you're revising, re-revising, that time you may only read the keywords over there. So then the book works as a summary book for you. Right? So no need to, like, you know, what you say, you know, make it convenient or luxurious for yourself first by referring to a book which is only of 200 pages, or only referring to a scanner, and then realizing, oh my god, like, you know, I got like what you got 143 out of 150 in your group 1. So it's not that you are not good, it's not that you are not sturdy, or it's not that you're not capable, but just a little bit here and there in any of the subject, and you have to pay the cost of it. You understand? No, it's a big cost, no, just for 7 marks. See, like if you get 20, 20, 20, and then you get 60 out of 150, you have nicely failed. Like this is good. This is like proper authentic failure. And this is like failure which is deserving. Like you deserve to fail. You've got 20 out of 100. You have like no face to show. It's like clear that you need to study again. Okay, but when does the torture of the CA course happen on you? When you get a 58 in a subject, you get a 39 in another subject, and you get a 57 in another subject, and now you have to write the group again. Now, because you got 58, 57, you don't get the exemption also. And this one subject you got 39. And now that is, see, if I get 20 and I have to study the subject again, the pain is less. So that doesn't mean that, okay, if you have to fail, fail nicely. Don't fail only. I know, but getting 58 and studying the subject again, that is the real challenge in the CA course. That is what really pinches you. It hurts you very badly. So that 58 came, but now not sure whether that 58 will come again. Maybe that attempt, whatever questions they asked and whatever you studied, it just was your everything in your favor and you got the 58. So no. Right? Identify. Okay, you're saying, why I'm putting so much extra effort? Why I'm referring so many questions? I know generally these are the questions which come. Please understand, you're working for those additional 10 marks in your exams. For those additional 10 marks, to jump from 140 to 150, or from 130 to 150, or from non-CA to CA, this is where you are really crushed. This is where you are really tested, because maximum of these students, they are just near the finishing line. Just because of 5, 7 marks, 8 marks, they are not able to cross the finishing line. There are many who are left behind. Unka to chhodi do. Those 20 mark fellow, those to let them be there only. But these ones who are at the borderline, and just because of a little bit of the lack of the effort, they couldn't pass the finishing line. So be careful for that. Don't take it for granted. Don't look out for a shortcut. Let that be your approach. Success will be yours. Don't have over smart approach. Be conservative. Concept of prudence. All anticipated expense and losses to be provided for, and incomes and gains should be ignored. I'm studying extra. No problem. You'll never regret studying extra. On the day of result, when you see this, 150, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, and you see 300 out of 600, you will not regret. You will not say, "Arey, why did I study so much? No need, I could have not studied." No. What you will think, whatever I studied, khatam ho gaya. It's over. You say, "Ma'am, what if I get 500 out of 600? Very, 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 very good. Too good. Too good. No problem." You say, "Ma'am, what if I get 550? Very, 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 very good. All India rank 1. Super, super, super good. The more, the merrier. No problem with getting anything more. If I get 60 plus in all subjects, wow. That is higher, on the higher side. But ye kya hai? Ye EOQ hai. Does anybody know EOQ? Do you guys know EOQ? You don't know? You know EOQ? हाँ, इकोनॉमिक ऑर्डर क्वांटिटी, करेक्ट. मिनिमम ऑर्डर क्वांटिटी, ये अपना मिनिमम ऑर्डर क्वांटिटी है ना, 300. फिर ज्यादा आ गया तो आने दो, बरसने दो. Okay, right. So that's how you need to prepare. Okay, be very disciplined in the class. Unless and until I am giving an off, you are not supposed to take any off in the class. Right? No taking any holiday, no having any other priorities, not opting for the luxury ke, oh, I have a backup, oh, no problem, today I can't attend, so tomorrow. Karna hi nahi hai. And a little bit be like, like military. है ना, थोड़ा अभी 5-6 months जब तक, और 1 year till the time CA final ना, keep little bit of a military type of a, disciplined attitude in your life, है ना, be little particular, don't be casual. Then rest of your life you want to be casual, do whatever you want and do whatever anyways. Then once you become a chartered accountant, then half of the problems of your half what majority of the problems of your life will be solved. Financial independence is for there for sure, recognition respect in the society is there for sure, है ना. तो अभी थोड़ा just don't loosen up, just have a good grip over yourself. And at CA final I don't expect anybody else to do that for you, right? You are adults, right? So no pampering, no nothing, okay? No because you will become a CA, okay? Right. So anyways, everybody tell me, have you got an outline of the 19 chapters? Okay, do we have class on Saturday, Sunday as well? Yes. So I'll give you an off whenever I need it. Like, I won't be able to conduct the class. So maybe one of the days you might have an off on Saturday, and Sunday you will have a class. And some generally Sunday you won't have a class. In between, I anticipate a 3-4 days break in between because I need to travel. So I will let you know. So that's what I said. Very simple. Okay. The only reason when you're not in the class is when I am not there in the class. Otherwise, you're always there. Right? So 20 sessions planned. Before Christmas, we should be good with the completion of the class, considering the holidays or so which might come in between. 20 classes are planned, but if required, maybe I can add 1 or 2 more classes also. Okay? So I hope that's fine with all of you, because though it's a fast track class, I plan to, I will, and I'm going to give you the entire content. I won't leave you without that, because that won't give me peace of mind unless and until I do the justice to the entire delivery of the subject. Okay. So I became a chartered accountant in Jan 2009. So that's been quite some time. November 2008, I wrote my exams. 2005, it was CA Foundation. It was PE1 at my time. So professional education 1, PE1 examination, right? Then in 2006, I wrote PE2, right? That was the intermediate exams. Then after that, from 1st August 2006 to 31st July 2009, 3 years did my articleship in Deloitte, right? So, and November 2008, my attempt was due. So November 2008, I wrote my CA final attempt. Jan 2009, I cleared. And then articleship got over after that in July 2009. And then since September 2009, I started teaching, right? So that has been my passion, and God has been kind enough to always keep me, right, connected with the students for the teaching of the subject of audit. Okay, so very much the Big Four experience, the auditing standards and the checklist and the work papers and everything which we followed over there always helped me with the good delivery of the subject. And again, standards on auditing is like the EQCS as such, like, that's one of the most core area where you get such a wonderful understanding of the standards that you start loving the subject of audit. So it's a caution. And okay, all of those of you who hate audit, probably as we proceed in the class, you'll start loving the subject, right? So that's the risk at which you all are. Right? You'll say, now, ma'am, I feel like opening the audit book. Now, ma'am, I am not scared of the subject of audit at all. So that's what has been seen so far. So I hope the same happens with all of you also. Okay? All good? You know the chapters now? How many chapters are there? 19. In that, up to chapter number 11, it is the, right? Chapter number 11, it is the EQCS. What is EQCS? The Engagement and Quality Control Standards. How many? 46 are there. Okay. And then you have all these special audits. Like, what special audits we have? We have the audit of the banks. Then we have the internal audit, then the audit of the NBFCs, then you have the group audit, then you have the ESG, SDG assurance, which is also a type of an audit only, right? Then you have the public sector undertakings, then you have the due diligence investigations, forensic accounting, and the digital auditing and the assurance, right? So these are the special audits that we have. And a bank and NBFC, it is in 14A, 14B, right? Internal audit is in chapter number 16, group audit chapter number 13, ESG, SDG 18, right? Then P is the, right, what you say, public sector undertaking, which is 15. Then due diligence, that is chapter number 17, and digital auditing is chapter number 12. And then chapter number 19 is regarding the professional ethics and the liabilities of the auditor. Okay, right. Yes, now what we will do in the class, right, to begin with our discussion in this particular batch, we will start with chapter number 19. Right, we'll start and we will end with, right, the entire chapter number 19. Right, so that one good part of our syllabus, like if you see in your books, it's a huge chapter over there, right? The professional ethics and the liabilities of the auditor, right? The professional ethics and the liabilities of the auditor, right? So starting from page number 19.1 to 19.130, so like 130 pages over there, right? So this entire chapter is what we will, target to finish first, and then after that we will go for a mixture of the standards and our binge PDD. Binge PDD, these others, bank, internal audit, NBFC, and all of that. Like we do some standards, then we do group audit, then we do some standard, and we do internal audit. Right? So likewise, I will take you, right? So taking it further over there, so that not that we've done standards, but other chapters all remaining, or other chapters in one go. No. Right? We will have a nice tossed approach. We'll toss all of them together and proceed with our studies. Right? All of you, all good? Right? Having a notebook in front of you, sitting in a wonderful ambience at your home, at your library, at your office, I don't know, whichever place you are, right? Not lying, comfortably on the sofa with a packet of chips or something, right? So why? Because you're not watching a World Cup over here, or any football or kabaddi, or any of the, or any movie or any Netflix series over here. No, you are preparing for a professional examination. Be professional in your approach. Ensure that you have a proper sitting arrangement made for yourself. Your textbook, your notebooks, your any other reference material is all next to you. In case if you have your intermediate audit card textbook and notebook, even keep that handy, because someday if you might some concept discussed and then you want to refer to your notes of intern, that can also be done. Right, so our class timing, obviously we are very particular. Today, it being day one, we had to, wait for a few students to join in. But apart from that, we start at 9 o'clock and then we take a break at 11:15. Right, so that's going to be 2 hours 15 minutes of the class in the first session. Right, then after that, 11:15 to 11:30 is going to be our break for 15 minutes. Right, we'll have a 15 minutes break, and then after that the 11:30 to 2 o'clock, so that's going to be 2 hours 30 minutes, right? 2 hours 30 minutes, right? So 2 hours 15 minutes and 2 hours 30 minutes, right? So that's 4 hours 45 minutes, right? 4 hours 45 minutes, right? So that is like, if you look into 240 plus 45, right? So 285 minutes of the class, which we'll have every day, right? In that, say in the beginning 15 to 20 minutes, we will revise, whatever we have studied on the previous day. But apart from that, for 4.5 hours, we will be discussing something new, right? 4.5 hours, we will be discussing something new. Okay, students generally find a torture to listen to a theory subject continuously for 2 hours 15 minutes, and mainly more so after the break for 2 hours 30 minutes. They are like, waiting, and then their attention span goes down. So again, they say, ma'am, give one more break or something like that. Now, why take break and all of that? So rather, I have seen that first 1 or 2 days, you'll find it difficult. Maybe, or you've already started finding it difficult, I don't know. But yeah, first 1 or 2 days you learn, because you can't even dream of it. Okay, Oma, how I sit at one place for 2 hours, ma'am? Not possible, ma'am. Something will happen, ma'am. Nothing will happen, don't worry. Okay, so what will happen? No, you will even be able to increase your stamina. of sitting at one place. And stamina is not physical stamina only, it is mental stamina also. Now, for 2 hours continuously, you are able to sit at one place and study, continuously without going away. So that will be very beneficial. You will be trained in this fast track batch for sitting for those long hours of study. You understand? So, that's what now I'm not here to pamper you. The pampering, no, that is after exams, after result, after becoming CA. And right now I'm here to, discipline you over there. Like I told you, military discipline type of. Okay, but don't worry, right? You'll keep on writing. So keep writing. And you have to keep on writing. Whatever notes I make, whatever I write, always there should be a pen in your hand, or there should be a highlighter. Either you're writing in the textbook or in the notebook. So that keeps you awake. And that keeps you alert. And what happens when you're listening to it? You think you remember. You think you know. You say you understood. You think I don't need to write it. But no. That moment you've understood. But maybe after 20 days, or maybe after 2 months, or maybe after 8 months, when you open the book again, the thought concept may not come to you. Right? So that is why what is very important is that you have the writing. You have some link, some association, something written in your books, which immediately, makes you click, oh yeah, I remember it. Oh yes, this was that point. And so don't be overconfident about your memory or something like that. If you remember, nothing like it. But on the safer side, better keep a note in your book. Right? Better keep a note of that in your book. Okay. Right? Would you like to share with me how many marks did you get in inter-audit? 80, 85, 40, 45. Because without getting any marks in inter-audit, you would not have come for final audit. Oh yeah, 62, 43, 58, okay. 45, okay. 50, 57, oh my God, I have good auditors on the way. Right, 51, 49, okay. For how many of you audit was the villain? Like audit was like the, okay, audit was like the subject, exact 40, this exact 40 wale people are no wastage of efforts, okay, right? So yeah, rehne do na ma'am, okay, so so okay, you've already put a CA before your name, so because you are anticipating that in your Gmail account you've already put a CA, so maybe later on it is available or not, so you've already created, so yeah, so soon to be. Okay, yeah, that's positive, very optimistic, very nice. I was glad to see that. Okay, after becoming CEO also, I don't have CA in my Gmail. You before becoming CA itself, you put a Gmail. So everybody's own styles over there. Okay, right. So yes, all good. Let's begin with our discussion now. Yes, all of you. How many of you? The books are with you? Or many of you last minute, yesterday night took admission, today morning took admission, then got the serial key, and then, what if someone else gets CA with same name before me? Oh yeah, so conservative approach. Okay, yet to receive the book. Okay. Right, so please follow up with the team and take the tracking details and all of that, right, so that you receive the book, because that improves the efficiency, of your studies in the class if you have the book at hand. But never, it's okay. Do you have the study material of ICI? Have you cut the ribbon of the study material? Yeah, so till that time, take out that material of the institute and you can go to chapter number 19 over there. Right, so or you can just institute study material PDF copy, you can download it from the ICI website and take handy, or take that on hand, because I have word by word tallied, and every content which is there in the study material of ICAI is also there in our books, right? So it's going to be very much convenient for you that way also. Okay, right, so with all of that, let's begin, है ना, शुरू करें. Okay, right, so let's begin with our discussion on the subject. Okay, Right. So now first coming to the chapter number 19, which is regarding the professional ethics and the liabilities of the auditor. Right. What did I tell you? Exam approach, that you are having the weightage of the, right, what you say, approximately on an average 10 marks from this particular chapter. Okay, just to give you an idea of what is not there in your new syllabus as compared to the old syllabus, because at some places you may dash across those questions when you're seeing the RTP MTP of the previous attempts, right? So just giving you a rough idea over there, right? So there used to be an a chapter called as the peer review and quality review, which is now no longer there in your syllabus, right? Not there at all, right? Then there used to be a chapter on the automated environment, which is again now not there, right? The automated environment. Then you had this management audit and the operational audit, right? The management and the operational audit, right? So again, that chapter has been deleted, right? It is no longer applicable for your exams, right? Then there used to be a chapter on the audit committee and corporate governance, that is the SEBI LODR, and a SEBI listing obligation and disclosure requirement regulation, right? Which is again now not there. Then there used to be a chapter called as the liabilities of the auditor under Companies Act and Income Tax Act. That chapter also now not there. So though in the new syllabus we say this chapter number 19 ka title kya hai? In the new syllabus, this chapter number 19, what is the title? Professional ethics and the liabilities of the auditor. This liabilities of the auditor has got nothing to do with that earlier syllabus chapter of the liabilities of the auditor. Here they are talking about the liabilities of the auditor under the Chartered Accountants Act only, not under the Companies Act or the Income Tax Act. They are talking about the liabilities under the Chartered Accountants Act only, not under the Companies Act or the Income Tax Act. Then earlier syllabus, old syllabus, there used to be a full chapter on the company audit and a section 139 to section 148 of the Companies Act 2013. Now that entirely has been deleted. Only what has been kept is the section 143 and the duties of the company auditor. So if you see, as such, many chapters in entirety have been deleted from your syllabus. But what has been added new over there? One, I told you the 10 standards, then the chapter on the digital auditing and assurance, and then the ESG and the SDG assurance, right? So these are like the real new additions over there. Okay, right. So anyways, that's just a rough outline of, there has been some deletions. Oh yes, even the chapter on the audit under the fiscal laws, tax audit, and the section 44 AB, right? 44 AD, and then also after that the form 3 CD, right? So the chapter under the fiscal laws, even that has been deleted from your syllabus, right? So quite a lot of your burden has been reduced over there. Right, so fiscal laws deleted, company audit deleted, SEBI LODR deleted, peer review, quality review not there, automated environment replaced with digital auditing and assurance. Right, so that's just to give you an idea. Okay, right. So now let's come to the what you say, first chapter for our discussion, right? First is the last chapter, so we are using the LIFO method over there, right? We're coming to chapter number 19, which is regarding the professional ethics and the liabilities of the auditors. Okay, right. So like just as a chartered accountant we are a professional, similarly an architect, an engineer, a doctor, a lawyer, a company secretary, even they are the professionals. Right? Even a lawyer is a professional, even a doctor is a professional, right? So now say what a doctor did, right? He is a surgeon. Okay, so now he is suppose some problem in the stomach, that is why some stomach surgery is to be done. So that is why the doctor gave the anesthesia to the patient, and then after that cut the stomach, and then did whatever operation was required to be done, and then again stitch back the stomach. And then after the operation was over, they again do a sonography or an x-ray to check, whether the problem has been solved. And that time they find out, oh my God, one of the Caesar which they use during the course of the surgery is there in the stomach only, and it being in the stomach only, they've stitched the stomach. Oh my God. Right? So is it not the ethical responsibility of the surgeon? Okay, when they are doing a surgery, they should not forget any, any knife or needle or any scissor inside the stomach itself. Right? Is it not their ethical responsibility? Very much. It is their ethical responsibility. Like, say some engineers or architects, they constructed some bridge. And in the construction of that bridge or tunnel, they used very low quality material. And that is why that entire bridge collapsed and say thousands of people died. So is it again not unethical of using low quality material in the construction of the bridge? It is unethical, right? It is unethical over there. Right. So just as, you living in a society, in a civilized world, you have the ethics. Right? That is, you should be honest, right? That is, you should be not creating any harm to others and all of that, right? As a human being, you should be having some ethics. And as a professional human being, as a professional person, you should be having some professional ethics. Right? You should be having some professional ethics. Like, can you tell me some advertisements which you see in the newspapers? Like, which you see advertisement like some Black Friday sale or some, some Myntra sale or a Jio or, some on TV or YouTube or, Zomato. Do you see some advertisements of sale? Can you mention a few to me? Any offers, any sales that you can mention to me? Hospitals also, they say angioplasty, angiography at 50,000 rupees or, some offers and schemes over there, right? Yes, no, you don't know any offer, you don't read any newspaper, all of you? Okay, right. So yeah, big billion sale, Amazon, Great Indian Festival and all of that you have. Like, I don't know, at the other day I had gone to a mall to multiplex to see a movie, and then there were some outlets also over there. One outlet over there, if I'm not wrong, it was some Cantabil, some Cantabil brand or something. Can you believe it? Like, what was the offer over there? Like, at least I couldn't believe it. It was buy two get eight free. Like, seriously? Like, buy two and buy two get two, buy two get three, buy two get 40%, 50% off, still digestible. But buy two get eight free. Like, if I buy, like, say, two t-shirts, 500, 1,000 rupees, then for 1,000 rupees, I'm getting the 10 t-shirts, right? So it's like 100 rupees each t-shirt over there. Okay, so they sell two at the price of 10. Exactly, right. And conditions applied and all of that. Then they say Puma, Adidas, Skechers, and a flat 60% off on purchase of 3 or more products or purchase of 2 or more products or something like that. Right? You keep on seeing these different types of offers, like Shoppers Stop, then there is Centro now that has become. It says happiness sale up to 51% off and 50% off or something like that. Okay, have you ever seen, right? Highest price will be billed here, right? So now, what does it say? Have you ever seen any hoarding of any chartered accountant anywhere? Like, say PwC, Deloitte, EY, yes, or what you say, KPMG or so, which says that, tax audits at rupees 999 and limited period offer. Do you see any such, file one ITR and get GST return free? Oh my God. Right, you've already put name CA before your name, and then prefix CA before your name. Then you already have a scheme with you. File one ITR and get GST return free. Okay, so let me tell you, in that case, it would be unethical. It would be guilty of professional misconduct under the Chartered Accountants Act 1949. Right? It is not Right. It is not ethical. It is not allowed for a chartered accountant. So just as a doctor is not supposed to leave a Caesar in the stomach while doing the surgery, similarly, a CA while doing the checking, audit of the financial statements is not supposed to leave any fraud error in the financial statements and say, oh, these financial statements are true and fair. No. I know that detection of fraud and error is not the primary objective of audit, but should I not be skillful? Should I not have professional competence and due care while doing my audit? Yes. Right? So can I say, oh, if you file 2 tax return, 1 tax return free, or first 100 clients we get 30% off? It says no. All this is not allowed. So the way you see Shoppers Stop or any hospital like Apollo or Max Hospital advertising, you don't see any such hoardings when you go on the highway, or you don't see any such hoardings on the MG road of your city of any CA firm, ABC and company chartered accountants, or DEF and company chartered accountants. No. Do you ever see any of such advertisements? No. Why? Because CAs, they are governed by the provisions of the Chartered Accountants Act. Okay, right. So with that, we come to our discussion of the Chartered Accountants Act 1949. In each chapter which I discuss with you, I am first going to give you the menu card of that chapter. Menu card? Right? Okay, if you go to a restaurant also, they give you the menu, no? And then from the menu, all what is served at the restaurant is mentioned over there. Right? And then out of that you select. Here you are not allowed to select anything. But okay, this is all what we are going to discuss in this particular chapter. Right? This is what we are going to discuss in this particular chapter. Okay, so in this chapter, very important, we are going to take an overview of the Code of Ethics. Right, so the Code of Ethics divided under the part 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so we are going to take an overview of the Code of Ethics. Then very important discussion which we are going to have is regarding the fundamental principles, which are also called as the ethical requirements for a chartered accountant. Right, the ethical requirements. Right? Ethical, right? Integrity, objectivity, professional competence, due care, confidentiality, and the professional behavior. Then, right? What happened on 15th August? 15th August 47. What happened? Yeah, yes, that was the day of independence, right? Independence. Okay, so what does it mean? Yeah, 1947, independence. That means there are no Britishers, no East India Company who is going to rule our country. We are going to be having our own democracy, our own constitution, and we will be functioning as an independent country. No Britishers coming and ruling us. So similarly, as an auditor, should it be that the client is ruling the auditor, we are telling you no fraud to be reported, then even if there is fraud, don't report. So then the client is like the Britisher over there, and you like an auditor saying, okay, you said no reporting, no problem, we will no report, but you give my fee of 20 lakh. Yes, is that right? Not at all. Right? Will you be like the dependent country or like the independent country? Will you be like the pre-independent era or the post-independent era? 100% you have to be like the post-independent era. That means you have to have the compliance with the requirement of the independence. Right? Independence of the auditor is non-negotiable. It is non-negotiable. You say, I'm just having 1 share, ma'am, of Geo Limited. If I can do audit, ma'am, no problem. 1 share, ma'am. Why you are making so much fuss? No. 1 share also out. You cannot be appointed as an auditor of that company. Right? So independence, title of audit report? When auditor issues an audit report, what is the title of his audit report? Exactly. Independent Auditor's Report, IAR. Independent Auditor's Report. You don't say semi-independent auditor's report or non-independent auditor's report. It is independent auditor's report. So one of the what do you say, heroic term, one of the most important term of our discussion is the independence of the auditor. Right, then after that we discuss a few sections of the Chartered Accountants Act. Sections of the Chartered Accountants Act, like we discussed section what do you say, section 2.2, members who are deemed to be in practice. Right, then we also discuss about the section 8, disabilities for membership, when you cannot become a member of the ICAI. Right, then the company is not to engage in accountancy. Right, then penalty for falsely claiming to be a member, then also the disciplinary mechanism, then the maintenance of the branch offices. Right, so not all, few few sections of the Chartered Accountants Act we will discuss. Now, then after the sections of the CA Act, our main discussion, our main bread and butter of this chapter is the schedules to the Chartered Accountants Act 1949. I should not find a single student who is not paying attention in the class. Okay, right? So second discussion what we have over there is regarding the schedules to the Chartered Accountants Act, right? You have the first schedule to the Chartered Accountants Act and the second schedule to the Chartered Accountants Act, in which you have the 34 clauses of ethics. Right? So like in CARO, you have clauses. In tax audit, you used to have clauses, but now tax audit not applicable. In ethics also, you have the clauses. And again, not to advertise, not to charge fees on percentage basis, take NOC. It's all given under different clauses. Right, so you have to know all the 34 clauses of the ethics over there. This is going to be the heartbeat of this chapter and the most important part of the discussion in this chapter. And then apart from the schedules, you have a few notifications which have been given by the Council of the ICAI. Right, you have the notifications, then you also have a few guidelines given by the ICAI. Right, then apart from that, there is a very trending discussion, latest, like new arrival. And when you go to a store, you see new arrival, or on YouTube also you see, oh, a new video has been uploaded on the channel. So likewise in this chapter, relatively new, not see, one, there is something which is brand new, means which is like first time it is applicable, just made applicable type, and something which is relatively new. Right, so something which is relatively new is your NOCLAR. Right, NOCLAR. What is NOCLAR? It is the non-compliance with the laws and regulations. NOCLAR. Non-compliance. NOCLAR. Laws and regulations. Right, so non-compliance with the laws and regulations. Right, already institute one time they've asked a question. Right, so already opening ribbon cutting ceremony of this concept has been done. NOCLAR. Right, but can they ask a question again? Yes, again we could see a question on the NOCLAR. Okay, so this is to give you an outline of our discussion in this particular chapter. Right, so beginning with the professional ethics and the liabilities of the auditor. In these 34 clauses, we are going to discuss the clause numbers and we are going to discuss the content of the clause. Right, this number के clause 1, clause 2, clause 3, clause 4 ऐसे numbers है, और फिर उनका content है कि clause 1 में क्या लिखा है, clause 2 में what is written, clause 3 में what is written. Do I need to know the number? Yes. 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 Do I need to know the content? YES. I need to know the content also. Do I need to write it in the exam? Yes. So to write it in the exam word by word, verbatim, not in your own language. You have to write it in the study material language, in the technical language. What you will have to do? You will have to learn it by heart. Learn it by heart. So whenever we draw a heart, what does that mean? You have to learn it by heart. And many students, they learn it by heart. दिल लगा के, दिल से पढ़ते हैं. But they are not able to. Can anybody guess? They learn it by heart. They know it. They understand it. But they are not able to. They are not able to retrieve, remember. नहीं, बाय हार्ट हो गया ना तो मतलब रिट्रीव हो गया, रिमेंबर हो गया, अब आगे का प्रॉब्लम बाय हार्ट है ना. हाँ एग्जैक्टली, दो दे आर एबल टू remember it, learn it by heart. What they are not able to do is they are not able to write it, they are not able to present it, they are not able to express it. Exactly, you understand? No, so you have to take care of that also. You understand? No, if I have to, make a particular vegetable, then I have to put salt, I have to put turmeric, I have to put chili powder, I have to put coriander powder, I have to put some other seasonings also, and then I make the entire vegetable. I can't say no, 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 today I want to put only turmeric in my vegetable, or today no salt, no nothing else, only turmeric in the vegetable, or today only coriander powder, tomorrow only chili powder. Nobody will be, the food will not be edible. So you say, no, no, this attempt I'm only going to learn, next attempt I'm only going to write, next attempt I'm only going to revise. No, everything, the chili powder, the turmeric powder, coriander powder, oil, mustard seed, and cumin seeds, everything has to come in this attempt only, so that it is well cooked, so that your preparation for the subject. You understand? No. Is turmeric required? Yes. Is chili powder also required? Yes. Only turmeric? No. Only chili powder? No. So you say, ma'am, I know how to write everything, but if you don't know only what you'll write. You understand? No. So first you have to understand it. After understanding, you have to write it. After understanding, you have to learn it. After learning it, you should be able to write it. While writing also, presentation should be sundar. Presentation should be sundar. What is sundar? Sundar? What is sundar? Beautiful, attractive, beautiful. When you look at Taj Mahal, you say, wow, marvel of the world. It's beautiful, like so much of marble used, and how the domes are created and how the minarets are made. You would say, okay, seriously, like this is the wonder of the world. And you see that in your area some government workers, they've gone on strike, and that is why at the garbage collection bin, the garbage is not being collected by the government people, and that is why every day the garbage is being dumped and dumped and dumped and dumped over there. Even though if you pass through that area, it's like that horrible over there. You understand? No. So you just think whether it should be Taj Mahal or whether it should be like that accumulated garbage over there, like no. Let it be modest also. Maybe not as great as a Taj Mahal, but maybe not as dirty also. So let it be good, calm, presented, well presented, well prepared for paper answer to be written. Okay, because you have to take care of it. If I know everything in audit but I can't write it, useless. I can write but I don't know anything, useless, absolutely useless. Right, you have to have all the skills. Okay, right, so I will make you write in the class a heart with a W. Right, so whenever heart and W is there, dil se writing, what you can interpret it as, from your heart you are going to do the writing practice, right? So from your heart, so if it has to come from your heart, you have to remember it, and after that you have to do the writing practice. And now how to do writing practice? You have to take a blank paper. On the blank paper you have to write down a number, question number 1, and then there is the pen in your hand. With that pen you have to write down the answer in the way you are going to write down in the exam. This is called as writing practice. Making notes is not writing practice. Reading the answer 10 times is not writing practice. Copywriting is one type of writing practice, but writing on your own as if you are writing in the exam is authentic writing practice. Authentic writing practice. I don't want any manipulative, any cheating writing practice to be done. Locha karne ka nahi. Otherwise, institute will do locha with you. You understand that? No? Okay. Right. So with that, yes, this is the outline of what we are going to discussed in our first chapter over there, that is the professional ethics and the liabilities of the auditor, right? So overview, fundamental principle, independence, right? And then after that a few sections of the Chartered Accountants Act, then the schedules, that's going to be the main discussion, and then the notifications, guidelines, NOCLAR, and the other discussions over there. Okay, these are a few sections. Apart from that, also a few other sections also we will be going through. Okay, right. So now coming to the overview of the code of ethics, right? Coming to the overview of the code of ethics. Okay, right. So if I come over here to the committees of the institute, right, you have the non-standing committees, and under the non-standing committees, one of the committee, do you see it over here, everyone? Right, you have the ethical standard board of the ICAI, and then you have the objectives of this ethical standard board, and then the achievements, recent decisions. These recent decisions are also included in your syllabus, right? The 33 or 30, some 30 plus the recent decisions of the ESB are also included in your syllabus, right? Then the clarifications, then the publications, then the guidelines and features, right? So advertisement guidelines, then council general guidelines, know your ethics, CA logo guidelines, and then over here you have the code of ethics, right? The volume 1, volume 2, volume 3. Volume 3 is the case study, case law referencer type. And that's like the case law referencer. So whatever, like, you know, income tax may you have case laws, DT, IDT, you have the case laws. Similarly, your whatever cases or what you say, whatever orders have been passed against the chartered accountants, right? So there is this case laws referencer book which has been given over there. Right, then apart from this case law referencer, mainly you have the code of ethics, the volume 1. Right, so this is the code of ethics, right, issued by the ICAI, right? So you have the mention of the NOCLAR and all over there, right? You have the mention of the NOCLAR and all of those points over there. Okay, where is the sound coming from? Okay, right, yes, the entire 5th edition and all of that, and then this is the overview of the code of ethics also. Right, so now this is the huge document over there. It is 330 pages is the first part, and then the volume 2 is again running into like so many pages. So it's not that the entire discussion is there for us, but yeah, based on this particular chapter has been prepared. And this is how the study material, but this is the base material for it. And this is the base material for that particular chapter. Okay, right? So if you want any more understanding, apprehension of this particular chapter, you know where you need to come to, right? You need to come to the ethical standard board of the ICAI. Right, so these are the members of the ethical standard board, and what are the terms of reference, right? The work, the objective of this ethical standard board of the ICAI. Right, so the revised requirement, and then the NOCLAR, I told you, the provisions regarding the NOCLAR, right? Then the forms, then register on CA Connect portal and all of that. Okay, right. So now if I come to the module 2, right? So if I come to the module 2 over here, right? You see the chapter number 19, which is the professional ethics and the liabilities of the auditor, right? In which they first given an introduction to ethics and why code of ethics is a necessity. And then after that, you have the overview of the code of ethics, in which we have the part 1, 2, 3, 4. Then coming to the fundamental principles. After the fundamental principles, coming to the independence, right? Coming to the discussion regarding, huge discussion regarding the independence, then NOCLAR, which we will discuss at a later point of time. Okay, right? So with that, the clock says that it's time for a break, and then we meet again, right? So I stop the meeting now, and then we start again at 11:30. Okay, right? So we start on time, so please be back on time.